How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
The Bride of Frankenstein.
She's alive! Alive!
A monster created from cadavers out of rifled graves. A tale that sent my blood into icy creeps.
Would you like to hear what happened after that?
Well, we've warned you.
You have been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein films minute by minute. I'm Thom Lang.
And I'm Bill Evenson, and you're joining us for minute 50 of Universal's 1935 epic Bride of Frankenstein.
Epic indeed.
This is the 50th minute. And you know what? This might be my favorite minute. I love
This is a good
this
minute. This is a great minute. Yep.
It's
not
just
a lot
enjoyable.
Not a lot happens, but it's both performers top of their game.
Well,
You don't agree?
is this the top of Karloff's performance as the monster?
No, but he's in his prime here.
That's true. Well, what he
I
is,
mean-
if nothing else, is gorgeous.
Yes.
And I mean that. It sounds like I'm being facetious. I mean it in
Like being an asshole, yeah.
macabre, ghoulish way.
Oh no, he's great.
Like you have that gag with the flashlight under your chin to make you look spooky. When we
Yeah.
first see him in this minute, that's
exactly
how
how
he
he
looks. Except it's Boris Karloff made up as Frankenstein's monster doing it. So it's
In
perfect.
1935, yeah. It's
Yeah, it's
not
just
1960 whatever when they did the Route 66 episode. He looks like your grandpa dressed up as the monster.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Yeah.
picture my grandpa dressed up as the monster, and I can't come up with it. Yeah. He looked a little bit more like Boris Karloff than you might expect. I don't know.
Is that right?
I guess so. I don't know. He died, I don't know, God, 25 years ago. I don't remember.
No,
Half my life he's been gone.
I'm older than my father was now, so that's a weird thing to wrap
Is that
my
a
head
weird
around.
thing? People say that's
Yeah.
a weird thing.
It is. It's
I've
weird
heard
to
that
contemplate.
frequently.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, what we have here is the monster emerging from the shadows, and he's approaching jolly old Pretorius, who's, again, still having the time of his life. And the monster kind of does a cautious little grunt to get his attention.
Yeah.
And Pretorius is completely unfazed
Oh, yeah.
by the appearance of the monster in this crypt.
Yeah.
Anybody else would have been terrified. He's happy to see him.
It's interesting to me that this plays out pretty much just like in the script. The only
does.
difference really in this minute between the script and what we see on the screen is the ongoing, continuing maniacal laughter.
Yep.
And he really looks like he's sharing a joke with that skull. Like that skull
Well,
is his
and-
best buddy, and he's not looking away because they're sharing a moment together.
They're having a moment. They're going to do a selfie. But the monster interrupts.
He's going to photobomb. The monster is going to photobomb.
The monster, yeah, that'd actually be a great image.
Yeah.
There's something for Doc.
There you go. Perfect. So it is in the script. So again, it is a
This
it
is
a
all
Claude
it all.
Rainsian
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. Again, we can see Claude Rains doing it, but I don't think it would have quite the devilish glee that Thesiger brings to it.
I suppose you're right. I think it would still be pretty effective if Claude Rains did it.
Oh,
Just
I
the way
think
it's
it'd be, yeah.
the way it's written in the script. Just the notion that he turns and sees Frankenstein's monster coming towards him as he's alone, sealed beneath the earth in a stone crypt, and says,
full of dead bodies.
"Oh,
yeah.
I thought I was alone." I think
evening.
Claude Rains would play that more or less the same. But you're right. Thesiger has a
But I
bit
think
more
he's
of edge
got
to him,
that-
whether he wants to or not.
Right, whether it's intentional or not, it's there. When he says the way he says "good evening," it has that wicked grin that he has, and I think it's just how he smiles.
Yes, right.
He looks like Ernest Thesiger. Nobody looks like this. I think that accentuates some of the things he does, whether they were intended or not.
It's weird because I'm trying to picture Claude Rains in this role as the guy that was in The Invisible Man, who we never see until he's dead and he's just laying there.
Yeah.
Where they could have put another actor and it wouldn't have mattered.
Right. But I mean, it is his face, but yeah.
It is. Oh, that's what I mean.
It could have
is
been,
his
could have
face,
been any,
but
it could have
wouldn't have mattered.
Could have been anybody. Yeah.
I've always thought it was odd that it was his face. Like
Yeah.
Why bother? But it is him, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we know it's him because he's in all kinds of movies. He's in
Yeah,
Casablanca.
he had a very long and respectable
notorious
career.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I know him, but it's weird because I picture him in this role as Pretorius, playing it closer to camp, I guess, like he did in The Invisible Man.
Like in The Invisible Man.
So I picture him playing it like that, but it's a weird thing to picture because he's invisible in that. You can't see his face.
Well, I mean, if you want to know what he looked like at that time, look at Mystery of Edwin Drood, which has come up a number of times. Cause
all right.
it's not, you never saw it. Okay. It's
I
on
don't
one of
think
those
so.
Universal sets, I think.
Oh, I know
Isn't
I
it?
have it. I actually have it as a separate.
Yeah, I have that. I have that too. But it's,
Okay, so it is part of a set.
I think it's one of those Universal horror sets from Shout Factory.
Gosh, it's got David Manners in it. I haven't
Yeah.
completed my.
What's
Valerie
what's the-
Hobson. My goodness.
Yeah. What's the
What is
year?
the matter with me? What is the year?
What's the copyrighted? Yeah.
2020.
No.
Oh.
No, the film.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I misunderstood the question. I can't see it. Fucking year it is. I don't know. I swear to God, 2014 is what it says. 1935. There you go.
Yeah,
exactly.
okay. So, yeah.
There you go. I'll have to take a gander.
So maybe Valerie was hopping from set to set. I don't know how concurrently they were being shot, but it's Claude Rains.
Didn't we talk about this
1935 was my point.
Didn't we talk about this with
Yeah.
Werewolf of London already?
Werewolf of London, yeah.
Yeah. She was busy.
She had a busy year, yeah. She had a busy
She
year.
certainly
in
did.
35.
I think it's interesting. He is completely unperturbed. The
Yeah,
word I wrote. As much as you could
Pretorius is
imagine from an
unperturbed.
adult-sighted person, because this is the first adult-sighted person. Well, unless you count Henry. I was going to say that the monsters ever met. He approached the gypsies in almost the exact same way. Kind of, can I have some of your? But he couldn't speak then. This is a very friendly reception.
You're saying it's the first adult-sighted person he's approached in a friendly manner that has reciprocated?
Yes, that's
that
what
what
I
you're
mean.
saying?
That's
Okay.
what I mean. The response of unperturbed and friendly and
Yeah.
good evening. Yeah, and he says smoke.
Smoke.
That's the first
Smoke.
thing he says. I think that's interesting.
He's had a rough day. He could
No,
you could-
that's a good point.
kick back with a stogie.
I'm
right
not
now.
sure where the days and nights go in this
Yeah,
movie, but it's a sure thing he's had a rough day.
You can pretty much,
Kind of assume.
apart from however long that gap from when he shows up at the hermit to when they burn his house down.
Yeah.
Anything
since this
beyond
is-
that-
Yeah, anything beyond that.
Anything
exactly.
beyond that,
Probably
he's had a
wrong.
rough day.
This movie's also made by a bunch of nicotine addicts.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Karloff, Whale, everybody.
Whale, yeah,
Like,
they
what would be
all
the
puff
first thing
like a
he would
chimney.
say? Oh, smoke. I'm going to go smoke. Please smoke.
Yeah.
Then, friend. They are my only weakness. Are we there yet?
Well, that's coming up. Yeah,
All right.
it's,
What do you got before that?
Well, he's a smoke friend, and Pretorius just like, oh, I hope so.
Well, that
Yes,
is
I hope
good.
so, which is a really funny.
That's perfect. It's annoying to think, like I talked about last week, that some people don't like this movie.
Don't appreciate the charms that it has. Yeah.
Yeah, because he says, friend. Yes, I hope so. You can't beat that.
He
You
still
can't
has that
improve
crooked
on
little.
that.
No, you can't, and he
Yeah.
still has that crooked little grin.
Mhm.
He's still very much enjoying this.
Yeah.
Pretorius.
He has been waiting for this moment. This is
Yeah,
all
actually,
part of the
he has.
plan in a sense.
I don't know that he had planned to run across the monster at all, but it's certainly serendipitous to his plan that he did, because now the monster becomes part of that plan.
You could almost picture him a scene where he even says it like, well, I'm sure I'll bump into him sooner or later, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And oh, look.
We're
Here
bound
he
to- oh,
is.
there he is.
And for it to happen in these circumstances is especially spectacular. I mean,
Yes.
that's what that's a big part of what makes me say this is my favorite minute. Is now I know how to answer that question, by the way. I kind of expected that it would come up when we were appearing on other people's podcasts. When I thought, what would
Yep.
someone ask me? They're going to ask me, what's your favorite minute? And I gave it some thought and I couldn't come up with anything.
Right.
So now I have one. It might be
Yeah.
this one. It is, as you say, two performers on the top of their game, but it's also this scenario, this setting.
Right.
This-
Everything that led up to this moment.
Yeah. And this setting. where they are.
Oh yeah, no,
and how absurd this is, and what they're going to do, and where they're going to do it. I mean, we'll talk about what happens here, I guess, but it's a fucking crazy place for this to happen, for these two characters to bump into each other.
Well,
It's
a
almost
crazy
like someone.
movie and...
It is, but it's almost like someone like maybe have you heard about how they made Raiders of the Lost Ark?
To some degree.
It's another one of my tangents.
I'm trying to figure out a connection.
George Lucas
had the idea.
Well, yeah, that's it. He has some pretty good ideas. Other than that, I wish that he would. So George Lucas and Steven Spielberg hired Lawrence Kasdan to write a script. And the way they did it is they all sat in a room. These three guys sat in a room and go, oh, it'd be fucking awesome. Then he's on a truck, and then the guy falls off the truck, and then Kasdan has to scribble this down, basically, and try and make a story out of it. Okay, so what I'm saying is, it's almost as if this scene had to happen. It's like you have these two characters, and the film is about what happens when they meet. They should meet at minute 50, and they should be in a crypt, and there should be a skull over here, and a glass of wine here, and a fucking
roast
chicken right there.
Yeah.
You couldn't make it any better.
No, not at all.
That's all I'm saying.
I absolutely agree. So yeah,
Lawrence Kasdan couldn't have written it any better.
No, he certainly couldn't have. So Pretorius offers him, have a cigar. They are my only weakness, which of course is the running gag from earlier, where he's
and it's not in the script here.
I was just going to get to that.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I did go back and verify it was.
It was in the script earlier. The gin being his only weakness.
The gin, yes. When he says it.
Do you like
Henry,
gin?
exactly.
It is my only weakness. But here, have a cigar. They're my only weakness.
That's a good gag, and it's funny that it's not in the script.
Yeah. Yep. So you just wonder, did they come up with it on set or rehearsing, or who put it in?
I do wonder that. Yeah.
Who put it in?
But I think it's funny that someone put it in the script once.
Yeah.
It wasn't because it seems like it works better to think it's
a running.
It has to happen at least twice.
Yeah.
And someone wrote it in the script, and then later someone wrote it, presumably Hurlbut, I don't know, Balderston maybe, and then had the thought later.
Yeah.
Well, this would be even
It's
funnier,
if he
says
says it
about
again.
something else later.
Yeah. I almost wish there would have been a third time.
Yeah, exactly.
The comedy rule of
would
threes. What else would it have been? I don't know.
Kind of, we're missing one.
Yeah.
What would it be? So you got your gin, cigars.
Creating life, it's my only weakness.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was going to say prostitutes, but I don't know if that really works for...
Not the kind of prostitutes most people think of, anyway.
Yeah, we never know. Actually, it's something horrible. Let's just say something horrible.
Yeah, and we'll let it go.
The third time.
Third time is not the charm.
Picturing you know what? I'm not going to say anything.
Don't even go there.
Okay.
So Pretorius gives up his seat.
Friend, yes, I hope so, is in the script.
Yes.
Note that. Yeah.
Pretorius gives up his seat. It looks like it's some kind of giant urn or a vase or something that he's been sitting on. It's hard to see because he gets up and then Karloff sits down and it cuts pretty quickly. But
but it is noteworthy that the way he does it, he's continuing this friendly interaction with the monster.
Casually gets up, and
I don't think we see him behave this way with anyone.
No,
he is very friendly.
He's very cordial,
just polite to the monster. Cordial is a good word.
Yeah,
he doesn't fucking behave this way with anybody.
No.
The next scene we see him in,
he is certainly not behaving.
He's fucking tearing shit up. I was gonna say I don't know if this is noteworthy, but when the monster right before that, when the monster comes up to him, I'm gonna do it on the Zoom. The monster's doing this with his hands. And it was funny because Jackie and I watched the minutes together, and we've been doing this with our hands of late. Let me go down a little bit. What you do is you say something, you go like this, and then you go like. Do you know what that is when I do that? When I take my hand and I go like that? It's what Trump says when he says, it's like a miracle. It'll disappear. And he does like a... yeah. And so it's funny that we're watching a movie and the monster goes, it's like a miracle. It'll disappear.
It'll disappear.
Anyways, I assume people will have seen the
miracle
coronavirus video. That would be a miracle. One of the things I think about this is when we see Pretorius with the skull and the bones and pull out his food and drink to sit there and eat it, and I rather like this place. He is a weirdo.
Yeah,
to do that.
Absolutely.
That's fucking weird.
Absolutely.
But then when the monster comes around, in my opinion, it makes perfect sense. It's like it makes sense because the monster almost should live there. He should eat and drink
have
and
his
smoke.
dinner there. Yeah. Well, like
there's no reason for me to think that, I guess.
I said a number of weeks ago that he's come home because this is where Frankenstein began. So he's kind of come home in a way.
Yep.
Monster's good, and he just helps himself to the chicken.
Yeah.
I don't think Pretorius necessarily proffers it to him, but he just tucks in and chomps on it, bones and all, which is a nice little touch.
It's disgusting, and it sounds honestly like it might be overdubbed.
I'm sure
to accentuate the crunching.
The crunching is,
I could imagine someone who's not, doesn't really care about being polite, picking up a piece of chicken and sort of separating the meat from the bone. But usually they wouldn't bite into the bone. He separates it and throws something. Or does he throw the meat away and eat the bone?
Eat the bone? It's hard to tell, yeah.
No.
He's a monster. You don't expect him to have
He's a monster.
manners. Yeah.
I don't expect that. But I also wouldn't expect him to crave bone. But I guess why not? What do I know?
I don't know that he's deliberately eating the bones. I just thought he's so hungry it doesn't matter.
That's probably true.
Or he just doesn't give a fuck.
It just makes a sickening crunch.
Oh, it's just
oh, honey.
I know.
No,
Whoa.
Yeah. And I think part of that is we are judging the monster.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, so we've talked about Whale and his relationship with Karloff and how that might have been how he kind of looked down on Karloff.
Yeah, it was a complicated
what do you call him? Truck driver or whatever it was. And then Thesiger came to town, and you kind of want to think that that might have ramped up a bit.
I'm sure it did, yeah.
And so a scene like this, to me, the way he eats the chicken, the way he drinks the wine, it's funny to me. Have you ever been to a wine tasting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jackie and I a number of times have gone out to like wine country in California, Napa and Sonoma, and it looks like this. There's one guy standing behind a little bar there. You don't need much space, and he's pouring the wine, and then you drink it, and it doesn't go anything like this. A guy doesn't slurp and gulp it down the way he does.
Well,
he doesn't eat chicken the way he does. He doesn't smoke the way he does earlier in the movie. I picture it being a situation where Whale is really getting a kick out of portraying this monster as a slob.
As very working class,
uncouth working class
blue
slob.
collar, yeah. Well, the monster has learned at least to keep all of the wine in his mouth by now. Because he doesn't spill any this time.
It's a valuable lesson.
Yep. So he did learn
red and green doesn't look so good together.
Oh,
green bad.
There was a nice mask that came out this year, Halloween, of Karloff from Frankenstein, but it's green. It's bright green, and I
it really is.
Fuck that. Yep.
People.
Not on my shelf.
Well, you could paint it, I guess.
I could, but
We're presumably not sharing this video, but right over your shoulder, there's a gray.
Well, that's mainly because the clay is
kind of green.
Clay is gray.
Okay.
Probably looks a little greenish on camera there, but it's gray.
God, when you turned it like that, it literally looked like a person turning to look at me. That's fucking creepy. All right, thank you. Turn him back. We get a good look at the monster as he's doing this, as he's eating and crunching and slurping.
Yeah, it's
we dwell on.
Yeah, it's a fairly tight up angle close up of it, especially when he drinks. It's pretty close. So yeah, you get a good look at him just chugging that wine down with gusto. He loves that wine.
That's what doesn't happen at the wine tastings. Usually people don't glug that much wine down with gusto.
I guess it's
more of a sipping.
I've been doing it wrong all these years then.
Oh no. Oh
dear.
Well, I mean, to each.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm never asked back. I don't know.
I wouldn't seek to speculate. There you go.
Right.
Bill's favorite minute.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good minute. Like I said, not a lot happens, but it is extremely well presented. Mm-hmm. Oh, I should have shown you my shirt too. I don't know if you can see.
What is he crying?
Yeah, he's lying.
I can see what it says.
Lying on a pillow, crying, and it says, "My name's not Frankenstein."
That's awesome.
I meant to wear it. I meant to wear it for Dino's, but I forgot.
Oh well.
I don't think it would have.
You can't see shirts
I
on.
know.
There you go. Look at mine has a TARDIS.
There you go.
Yeah, you can't see shirts on Zoom. Really.
No, And you certainly can't see him on an audio-only podcast. So
Although I guess I could see Dino's shirt during his podcast
because he had Frankenstein Minute shirt on. Yeah.
That I noticed.
Yeah.
So there you go. You got any more notes for this?
I have nothing. I think the next minute is very pivotal. This is just a nice little build up to what's coming, and it's just a lovely acted, fun little moment.
Maybe that's what I like. One of the things I like about it too is next minute is more important.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is, I don't know. I guess this one's important too, but it's important as a character moment.
Mm-hmm. Now the next
monster approaches, and Pretorius doesn't pretend to not be affected by seeing the monster. He legitimately
just
is unperturbed,
completely, completely unfazed.
Like, oh, I thought I was alone. That's a perfect line too.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was alone.
Yeah.
Alone bad.
Now, see, if I were having lunch in a crypt like that, and anybody showed up, would probably scare the shit out of me.
If I'm just watching TV at home and Jackie watching it, I usually get freaked out.
God.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to startle me. I'm pretty easily startled. Easily startled Bill. This guy, though,
nope.
Frankenstein's monster walks up.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
All right, then.
Nothing else?
I got nothing.
Okay.
Come back next week when, as a special episode, we'll be talking about minute 51.
Very special.
That's what we're going to do next
Well, it is the minute where all of the plot points come together. So it is an important minute.
It's true. That's true. We're going to learn. That's true. This movie has a good structure to it. Next week, we will talk about the structure of how
this is where it all comes together.
We propel it forward because we've hit this point in the movie where we're all having fun.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yep.
Viewers Monster hasn't had a great day.
Viewers have been having fun.
Where do we go from here?
Right.
Come back next week, and it'll all be revealed.
It all pulls together.
Actually, I didn't mention it. I think it was last week. I was going to mention that something in the Edgermont novelization, they start to hint as to what's going to happen later.
Oh, do they?
In the conversation with the ghouls.
Oh.
Well, I might as well just
say
since
we're here.
Seen the fucking movie. He says, I rather like this place. Oh, this isn't funny. He says, the two men picked up the coffin. Now, Franz, don't forget about the Baroness. Most important, no hair doctor.
Okay.
That's all. Well, because in the 1936 Edgermont novelization, Franz or I can't remember he names the characters whatever he wants. Do the actual abduction.
Oh yeah, I think that might have been close to how it was in a script at one point.
I think that's right. Yeah. That's not what.
So we'll get there when we get there. So
we'll
I don't
get there when we get
talk
there.
about it too much.
Nope, I've spoiled it. But I am saying that was something that I didn't say. Here's me saying something I didn't say.
Okay. I'm not going to take the time to go back and put it into next week's episode if that's...
Into last week's episode?
Yeah, because did you say that's where...
No, don't.
No, I'm not going to.
No, please don't. I was just saying, has music been playing over
this
it's
been
time,
going for about an hour now, so...
All right, folks. Don't forget, as usual, you know what's available at Patreon.
You know where to go.
You know what to do. Or don't do it.